Welcome back, headbangers, metalheads, you crazy fucking rockers. As you know, last year we said Happy New Year. We're going to kick it off this time with webisode number 142, talking with legendary vocalist from the Meat Shits, Robert Deathrage. Welcome, Robert. How's it going, dude?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. Welcome to our podcast. Glad to have you on.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I've never done one before, so let's see how this goes.
Okay, let's pop your podcast cherry, shall we?
All right, all right.
Well, the first question I'd like to ask you, Robert, is how did you come up with a band name called the Meat Shits?
That's been asked a lot of times. Back in the 80s, I watched a documentary on the Discovery Channel about septic tanks in, down south, and how one of them was they just kind of dumped the Duke right there by the river, like by the water supply, and then it just kind of leaked into the water supply, and it was because everybody just ate meat and stuff. And I was watching this, and I just kind of came up with the name.
That's incredible.
I wish I could find the documentary. It seems to be long gone now, but it is what it is.
It might be floating around somewhere.
I thought one time I almost found it and it wasn't it, and I'm like, ah, shit.
We got a floater out there somewhere.
It just kind of poisoned the water supply. That's what I remember. We're talking like I seen this 35 years ago on the Discovery Channel, and well, now I'm an old man, so it kind of fragments after a while.
How'd you stay alive after all these years as far as like being in the music scene? Because I know sometimes for some people it's really difficult.
What, to keep doing this?
Yeah,
I don't know. The fans kept it alive, I guess.
that's cool. Because I remember the one time I called you on the phone and you asked me to spell out my last name and you put me on your thanks list for Horrible Volume 1, which I still have a copy of. I look at it and I listen to it pretty much every day. That's a lot of music, 99 tracks of blistering grindcore, porno grind, whatever you want to consider yourself. Like, what subgenres basically helped influence your sound?
Well, back then it's whatever existed. There's like back then it was a lot different. There was only a handful of bands. I would say bands that influenced us back then was probably Sore Throat, 7 Minutes of Nausea, Violent Noise Attack, bands like that, because they were the ones that were around before Meat Shits and Anal Cunt. And, of course, the obvious bands, that I grew up listening to, Slayer and all that stuff.
Right on. Let's see what Rhino's got for you. What's up, Rhino?
All right, a fun one for you. Just doesn't have to be musically, can be anything. What advice do you give to your 10-year-old self?
Don't. Learn other languages.
Yeah. That's not hard in California.
Well, you would think I would know Spanish, but of course I don't. I just know how to read some of it and maybe know a few words, but that's about it.
Yeah, my son took 3 years of honor Spanish, learned more in his senior year working at a restaurant. So, and this one's going to get weird. All right. You get to bring a musician back from the dead, but in return, you have to sacrifice a modern musician. Who you got?
Well, I don't know about sacrificing anybody, because I'm not really that guy anymore. But as for bringing back, I would definitely say like Dimebag Darrell.
I would go with that.
As for making sure that some of these new ones don't have a career, I don't know. There's just so much crap out there. I hear all this shit at my work, and I have no idea who it is. I installed this thing called Shazam on my phone just so I can know who the hell I'm listening to. Because some of this new music, I'm like, wow, people really listen to this. So I would say, God, what's one I hear all the time? What is it? Leah Dupa. I don't know what the hell it's called. Just some new pop thing. I have no idea. I just, put on my Shazam and I'm like, who the hell is that?
I've never tried that out.
All I got from that was play with your woman's fupa.
I don't know.
I
I
didn't
don't know. And it means
understand.
everybody sits there like at my work and says, "So, Robert, do you like Taylor Swift?" I'm like, "Who the fuck is Taylor Swift?"
I mean, I know
Never
who
heard
she
of her.
is.
Huh?
I know who she is, but
I don't know. I'm just like, and everybody looks at me like I'm lost. Like, you don't know who Taylor Swift is? I'm like, what the fuck is a Taylor Swift?
that should be a new sexual position than Swift.
I just don't know what it is. I'm like, that must be some kind of new fucking fangled saying or something. I was like, man, I'm not a part of your world. Leave me alone. Fuck off.
All right, one more before I turn it to Al. The Beatles or Elvis?
Elvis.
I thought you'd say that.
Definitely Elvis.
I
So
grew
I
up in a
hear the
Beatles
Beatles all the time
sanctuary.
as a kid. So ugh. No offense about the Beatles, but it's just not my thing. And I'm not going to say Elvis is really my thing either, but it just stands out more to me.
Yeah, he did influence a lot of bands.
A lot of
So
bands.
yeah. All right, let me turn it back to Alvin.
Let me ask you this, Robert. Was it your aim and goal to be the most offensive and controversial band out there?
Um, I don't know about that. It wasn't really, it was just the times back in the 80s. Everybody was trying to be like that. I would have figured the meat shits, like the fandom and everything, would have died off by now, but it's still there. And especially during this new social climate, I figured it definitely would have been canceled out, but no, it's still there. No, I did not expect it to. Wasn't really aiming for anything. Just
Well,
trying to get the name out there.
I think it's great regardless because you guys been at it for so long that just makes my
Well,
eardrums
mainly
rattle
me and
more.
mainly I've been at it, and I don't know what the hell's wrong with me for still doing it for this long. I just keep doing it. I'm starting to get old, and I'm kind of winding down a little bit. So it is what it is.
Would you like to tell me about one of your tour stories? Like, say, one of the craziest moments you had while you've been on tour?
Probably just touring with like doing those few shows with Anal Cunt and Anal Blast. That was kind of crazy. But I don't know. There's so many stories. I just can't even really identify one.
A lot of focus on assholes there.
Hmm?
A lot of focus on assholes.
Oh, you mean the band names?
And
Yeah.
yeah.
That's who we got lumped in with back then, so I can't do nothing about that.
Right.
Yeah, there's quite a few of them out there. Those
Oh,
are the only.
now it's extreme. Back then there was nobody. Now there's so many bands doing things, and they kind of credit me for being the one that kind of created a lot of the shock that they're doing. And I'm just like, wow, you guys are taking it way further than me.
Yeah, some people like to push that envelope a little bit too far, I guess you could say.
Yeah, some bands are, but hey, whatever you think, go ahead.
Well, whatever keeps their boat afloat, I guess, like people say, right?
Pretty
Pretty much.
much.
What would you say is your favorite thing about doing death metal?
What?
What would you say is your favorite thing about doing death metal?
Well, back in the day, I just loved it. I mean, when I first heard all those demos and stuff like that, the death demos, Possessed, stuff like that, that was the music that connected with me. I don't listen to a lot of it anymore. Anybody watching this, don't be offended. I'm kind of like an old man now, but it was just extreme and it's intense. But I prefer like the old death metal. Some of this new stuff with the reapy vocals is kind of, well, I'm old, to each their own, but I'm old and I just think it's weird.
So no pig squealing for you.
No. And we've
Yeah,
had to do a lot of fests with a lot of those bands, and like every band back to back to back is just that. And it's just like, And I just sit there and go, wow, that's what my parents meant by all this music sounds the same. So then I became that guy, and I'm just like, wow, this all sounds exactly the same.
I can totally
Yeah.
understand that.
Don't get me wrong, they're nice people. You know, it's just, I don't know, the pig squealing just kind of trips me out.
I'd agree there.
What you got right on?
Well, just one personal question, real quick. Did you come from a musical family? If so, what did they take of your music? Well, either way, how did your family take your music?
Well, that music back in the day, trust me, they did not take it well. Because you got to remember how the meat shit started. It started off as noisecore because I couldn't find any decent musicians. So all we did is we just came up with this noisecore crap, trying to make as many short songs as we could back to back, and you know, offensive covers for the demos, that kind of stuff. I came up with the idea to put a bunch of porno on there and stuff, and everybody just kind of went, "Oh, this is shocking."
All right, the musical family part.
Oh, the
Were
musical
your parents
family.
musician?
No, they just listened to
Oh,
music.
okay.
No, they just listened to music, and I had to hear so much crap growing up. You know, stuff I can't stand, like Fleetwood Mac. I can't stand stuff like that.
All right.
I just named Fleetwood Mac because that's an album I remember always hearing a lot when I was a kid, and it just kind of made me go, "Oh God, this is terrible."
Yeah, I got put through country, so
Well, yeah, I heard a lot of country too from my grandparents. I remember being at my grandparents a few weekends, and now every weekend was the Grand Old Opry and the Porter Wagner and stuff like that, and then Hee Haw at the end.
I remember the Oak Ridge Boys, the Statler Brothers, the Righteous Brothers,
Oh, I
and
remember all that stuff, of course.
yeah, some stuff that my dad would listen to, in the car coming back home from church at the time. It's like, wow, this is pretty rad. We're jamming music on the way home. You
I
get
don't
home,
really judge. Sorry,
it's okay. I was gonna say
I
you
don't
get home.
really judge it anymore. When I was a kid, I judged it. I was a dick about it, but now I just kind of go, oh, whatever. I'd
except
rather
Taylor
hear the
Swift.
Statler brothers and all that stuff rather than this Dua Lipa or whatever that is.
Fupa.
I don't know who it is. I just remember hearing the song and I'm just like going, what the hell is this crap? And turns out it's somebody famous, and I'm like, not in my world.
Famous anus cookies.
No, what was the other one I heard? Doja Cat. Like, what the hell's that?
Doja Cat? What the hell's a Doja Cat? Ryan, what's a Doja Cat?
It's some kind of pop thing. I don't know.
I have no clue.
I was thinking maybe it was that cat that's got the Pop Tart attached to
Well,
it.
you don't work where I work, and trust me, there isn't nobody there that's into metal. Like, I can't go out in public even like with this hat on without being judged.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess the key, as we all learn, is not to care.
Well, the thing is now when I'm getting older, I can't be like I was when I was a kid and go, "What the fuck are you looking at?"
Right.
You can't do that anymore. And I'm too old to be doing it, so I just kind of dress normally and just kind of blend in.
All right. Musically, what did you find yourself doing during COVID, during the lockdown?
Watching a lot of fucking shitty TV. A
Did you
lot of
work through
TV.
it or
No, I got
uh,
put on. I was living in Portland at the time, and I was actually working at the Hilton, and they, of course, shut down all hotels real fast.
right?
And I just got put on an 18-month paid leave of absence. And that time I came back to California because it was safer to be in California than it was up there.
Yeah, that's the West Coast has gotten strange.
It hasn't gotten, it's getting
Yeah,
worse.
yeah. I mean, yeah, Portland especially. Like, God,
Portland makes California look normal.
it's. I mean, that whatever they called it, some garden that was basically a drug shithole. It's a garden. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. They like shut down businesses because these idiots took over a block, a block, and they called it a garden.
That
And it
was
just
Seattle.
oh, that was Seattle. Okay. That's
But
right.
Portland had equally as bad of problems. They had the protest that went on for like 150 days straight or whatever it was. And they were just tearing the shit up out of everything.
Summer of love.
Summer of something. Summer of shit. They locked everybody down, but the protesters, hey, it's all right. It's all peaceful.
Right. Yeah, sure. Sure. Oh,
It's the summer of buttholes and fupas.
All I know is in Portland, they went insane. And I just remember when the first Amtrak train started departing down to California, I was on it. I was just like, fuck this city.
yeah. I met a guitarist. What was it? Early last year, and he's like, "Yeah, I just moved to Portland." Like, you moved to Portland? Why don't you
Who does
move
that?
Do you have
Nobody
anything on
moves
your
to Portland. They escape
Oh,
Portland, like
yeah,
Snake Plissken, escape from Portland, Oregon.
yeah, yeah. He's like, "I moved." I'm like, "What?" Oh my god! Is there anything left on your musical bucket list?
Not particularly, no.
No.
I haven't even been to a concert or done a show or anything since the COVID thing. I just kind of seen what COVID did to everybody, and I'm just kind of,
Yeah, everyone said during COVID, "I can't wait to get the shows," and they did briefly. And everybody's bedtime changed during COVID. So
everybody's everything changed during COVID.
yeah.
Sit there and watch that damn media all the time, the news, and everybody just changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to
But
tell my dad. Yeah. I was like, the news, cable news is not entertainment. We do not watch it for entertainment.
well, at first when this thing was going on, I wanted answers.
You're right, but then
I
it
got
got out
more
of control.
questions to ask.
Yep, that is for sure. All right, I think I cut Al off earlier, so let me throw it back to Al.
Oh, it's okay. I already forgot what I was going to talk about, but at the same time, I was going to say, back in our day in the 80s, you knew it's bedtime because you would hear the MASH theme song.
I don't know. I remember Benny Hill. I think that was like the last show on.
Yeah, I remember hearing MASH. I was like, yep, time to go to bed. How depressing.
Well, that was back in the days when TV had the decency to turn off at night.
Mhm.
Yep, that's right.
They don't do that no more. It stays up all night.
My big brother, he still has that old Zenith TV where you pull the knob just to turn the TV on and you have to twist it for the volume.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Or
it's kind of
remember the remotes? That was the wire that went to the TV, and you had to be careful.
yeah, it's funny because he still has it and it still works this very day. Clear picture and everything. I shit you guys not. But long story short, we had a babysitter at one time that was trying to get my brother to go to sleep. So I ran out there, turned the TV off, and turned the volume all the way up. When she turned that TV on, it scared the hell out of her.
It'll do that.
Yep. Sounded like a big gunfire went off or some shit. Like, uh-oh, scared the crap out of the babysitter again. But anyway, let's see here. Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years, Robert?
Retired.
Yeah, tired.
Retired. Not from
That's
just
good.
music, from work, from everything.
Yeah, it's good to take a break, I guess you could say.
Well, in 10 years, I'm going to be 68.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And who knows what 10 years from now is going to be like.
Oh God. Learn to speak Chinese.
I warned people about that 30 years ago, and people would say, their kids, like, what are you going to try to teach your kids, Robert? And I'm like, well, I'm going to try to teach them Chinese. Boy, that didn't work out. But yeah, speak Chinese, speak Russian, speak something. Don't just learn how to speak English or
No,
American English.
yeah. Yeah, pretty much every other country teaches multiple languages.
Not ours.
Yeah. Even in
It's
Africa,
kind of
they
something we
teach
got.
English.
Hmm?
Yeah, even in Africa, they teach English.
Of
And we can
course.
barely get our citizens to speak English.
Well, we don't speak English.
Well,
We speak like a mishmash.
yes. Painful, and yes.
Yeah, we speak a lot of slang. That's why people in other countries, when I talk, they just sit there and go, huh? You know, even if they speak English.
Yeah, the Scottish are really bad with that.
Oh,
They
yeah.
get talking, I'm like, huh? Like, I have no clue what they're saying.
Yeah, the
Women
one
are
label
hot, though. So,
I had a label from Scotland that put out some stuff, and I talked to the guy on the phone a few times, and I'm just like, wow, dude, that is thick dialect.
let's turn it back to Alvin, see what he's got for us.
Other than being a vocalist of death metal music, Robert, have
Huh?
you ever, other than being a death metal vocalist, have you ever tried to play a musical instrument, say like a guitar or bass, maybe drums?
Keyboards,
Yeah.
piano, tried. Not very good.
No.
No, I gave it a shot.
Okay. This is aside from music. In your opinion, what is the greatest horror movie of all time? Yes, Zombie.
I like this one a lot too.
You know, I seen Zombie for the first time a couple weeks ago. The boat,
Really?
yeah, the boat is ready. Tell the crew.
My parents took me to see that at the drive-in when I was a kid. It was 1979.
Wow, that's the
And
year I
that
was.
movie never left my brain. And it took a long time for me to find it, as, you know, during the 80s. And finally I found it. And it was exactly the way I remembered it.
I love that movie, especially the line where you hear, "Hey, you ever hear of voodoo? Yeah, it makes the dead stand up and walk. I've seen it with my own eyes."
Mm-hmm. I
That
just
one
watched that
was
movie
so
again not too
cheesy,
long
so
ago.
good. What's that?
I just watched that not too long ago.
That's awesome, dude. Because I was talking with my bandmate about it because he's the one that brought it up. He's like, "Dude, you got to check out Zombie." But when the zombie jumps off the ship, I'm just like, that's really bad acting. You would expect it just to fall in the water, but no, it jumped. Zombie overboard. I'm jumping. I ain't walking no
Yeah,
fucking plank.
the way it's all filmed and everything is perfect. It's just so atmospheric.
It is. You ever seen that movie, Rhino?
A long time ago.
Yeah, that movie rocks, dude. I like
Yeah.
that movie. And I also like Night of the Living Dead, Evil Dead movies, especially Army of Darkness. Army of Darkness is hilarious.
Yeah, I prefer the first one. 'Cause I remember seeing that when I was really high at somebody's house, and then afterwards I kept hearing those damn voices, join us.
They're
It was just a great movie.
coming to get you, Barbara.
That's a good one too. I watched that again recently, and I'm just like, wow, this movie really stands the test of time.
There are some classics out there. That's for very sure. What you got, Rhino?
Oh, let me think. Okay, well, let's go with this. All right, you get to jump in the studio with one musician, dead or alive, to record material with. Who's coming in the studio?
Well, I think everybody would love to have Pete Sandoval on drums. That's about all I can think of right now. I mean, the list would be too long to even put out
Yeah,
there, and it'd be totally unrealistic,
yeah, especially when they're dead. Yeah.
dead or alive, especially when it comes to the meat shits.
Yeah, so Al mentioned touring. Describe your first ever tour.
Going across the United States with a bunch of us ass packed into a van, having to smell each other's farts, going to show, not showing what would happen. Couple shows get canceled, but you drove all the way there. You have limited cash. And you have to, oh man, begging people for a place to stay. It was a nightmare.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Is that what you expected when you got in the van?
No, I didn't know what to expect. I was a kid. I just thought, oh, go out and play. It'll be easy. Then you find out it's hurry up and wait.
Yes. Yes.
And now it's even worse because now the meat shift is considered almost a headliner or a co-headliner. So you're sitting there watching, 5 to 10 bands open up, and you're just sitting there going, fuck, I want to get this over with.
All right. Who would you say has been to the most meat shit shows? Is there like some diehards that just followed these guys around?
I couldn't even name a certain person. It's like every time we played in Southern California, there would always be these certain girls, but they're not really into the scene anymore. Last time we played down there, I didn't see them.
Damn. Damn.
Well, it is what it is. I mean, people grow up and some people grow out of this. And in the case of women, they probably got married, had kids,
Yeah.
probably changed.
Oh, for sure. And some of them probably still would enjoy it, but it'd be embarrassing in their mother circle or whatever.
Well, everybody's embarrassed about everything nowadays.
Yeah, my grandmother went to see meat shits last night.
Well, I'm sure some of them still exist.
Yeah. That's the thing too.
Grandfathers going, hey, I seen the meat shits. Had a couple people send me messages just going, my dad turned me onto the meat shits. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, there's some, I mean, like meat shits that, I like the band, but it's, I guess just at my age, I couldn't walk around sporting the t-shirt.
Yeah, there is that. But I got a lot of diehard collectors, people that just buy the shit
Oh yeah.
just to have it. Or just take
Yeah.
the records and stuff like that and just frame it. Or just frame things and go, hey, can I have an autograph and stuff like that? I'm like, yeah, I don't care. How much do you want for the autograph? I'm like, I don't charge for autographs. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yep.
But I heard bands do that.
Some, not, I mean, I don't know of many.
I'm just like, wow, that's pretty cocky. No, I want money, or I want money to be on your podcast, $100.
Yeah, fuck that.
I heard that from you, and I was just like, huh?
Yeah, I was a bit upset about it. I won't mention the name as to who the person was, but I will just say, whoever you are, well, I'm going to see you in person someday, and I will put you on the podcast for free.
I just think that's funny. Like $100. I'm like, wow, dude.
Yeah, I was a bit livid about it.
I mean, some of the autographs I understand in that, they sign this stuff and then the next day it's on eBay. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, fuck eBay. If you get something signed for a good amount of money, you might as well just frame that stuff, or just, put it away somewhere where it won't get damaged, if that makes any sense.
What's the craziest? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
What's the craziest thing you autographed?
Chicks' panties.
Nice.
I don't know if that's crazy. I thought it was kind of cool, but
yeah, for sure. For sure. And turn it back to Al because I know he's got some good questions. He's bubbling to get out.
Well, let's see. We got 7 minutes left in this segment. So try and think of one real quick. Okay, Robert, this is not music related, but what's it like a day in the life with you? Like, how would you describe your day? How does your day start and how do you finish?
Well, if it's a working day, I get up and I immediately go, ow, 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 because I'm old. Got to work in the joints and get things going. Got to get some caffeine in you. Gotta get motivated. Then I got to go to work and deal with scumbags. And after I get off work, I come home, have some beers, try to wind down, and repeat. Days off, I usually am taking orders to the post office and I'm dealing with idiots at the post office. Not really so much the workers, it's the people in line that want to tell me about their personal life. And I'm just sitting there, just kind of like, ah, yeah. And I'm just thinking, God, will you please shut up? It's like, I'm not here to socialize. I'm here to fucking mail my shit off and then get the hell out of here. I don't know you people. Fuck off. I try to be nice, but sometimes the banality of people's conversations makes me want to vomit. It's like, why are you volunteering this personal information about you?
I would tell those people go see Dr. Phil.
No, I don't say nothing. I just sit there now because you got to be careful in this society. I just kind of sit there and go, oh, wow, that's terrible. Even though my inner voice is just saying, will you please shut up?
Yeah, I get that. I totally do. Sometimes people are like that, especially at the grocery store. I mean, there was one day I was wearing a shirt and I hear, hey, what you wearing there? I said, this shirt, it's Campbell Corpse. I said, oh. And I hear, is that a band? I said, yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like the song Hammer Smash Face, and this guy's looking like he's about 70 years old. I'm like, what the fuck? So,
Well, if it isn't Dia Lupa or Lupa Dia or whatever, they don't know what it is.
Fupa Fupa.
I don't know what that is. I just see these names now, these people. I'm like, what the hell? And some of the music I hear at my job. Oh my Lord. I'm like, is there like subliminal messages in this? Kill yourself or something like that?
Hopefully.
It ain't 2 degrees.
Hopefully.
I know that much.
It's
That's funny. The next meat shit song, Fupas and Buttholes.
Well, I'm not putting it down. I guess he does well with it. I just don't understand it. But hey, there's a lot of things I don't understand.
Hey, don't feel bad. I'm right there with you, man. I'm still learning some new shit every day, especially on guitar.
Well, that's why I put that Shazam thing on my phone so I can sit there and go, who the hell is this? And I'm like, who? Huh?
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. Well,
Yeah,
dude,
Maybe I did it just because I hear these old 80s songs occasionally, very rarely. And I'm like, who is that? Like, oh, yeah, that's right. Put it down.
it is fun sometimes just sending friends on Messenger god awful songs, knowing even if they click off in 5 seconds, it's going to be stuck in their head all day.
Yeah, I've had some songs that get stuck in my head. And that's sometimes why I brought the Shazam so I could get it out of my head and just go, oh. Because at first it would just stick in my head and I'm like, what was that garbage? What was that crap?
Yeah, well, the one time I was sending that baby shark thing, then it got stuck in my head. And I found myself showering at the gym whistling the song. Like, oh shit.
Well, that shows you that there's subliminal shit in there.
Oh, for sure.
we were
Yeah.
talking about the Doja cat earlier, and I still can't figure out what that is. I thought it was that, cat that's got the Pop-Tart attached to its back and it's shitting rainbows throughout the fucking starry sky and stuff. Or some shit like that. I don't remember.
It was just something that popped up when I used the Shazam because I heard this awful sound and I'm like, God, that's annoying. What is that? And I'm like, really? Somebody named themselves that?
Well, next time you're in line at the post office, you should play that for some stuff they get about it.
Technically, in my post office, you're not even allowed to bring in your cell phone.
What?
That's a sign that says it. So I try to conform, because I don't want to get kicked out of my damn post office for bringing in a fucking cell phone.
Wow. That's
Don't
dope.
ask me. It's California, dude. Don't ask me to explain California. I just live here.
Welcome back, fuck faces. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna think of a really interesting question. All right, Robert, what would you say is the world's best microphone? Oh yeah, There it is, that
You said
fuckface hat.
fuck face, so I couldn't resist.
Yeah, what would you say is the best microphone you use for doing vocals?
Sure.
Any particular model? I use an SM58.
Well, I'm not Bruce Dickinson, so just as long as it gets the point across and I can just growl.
Hey, that makes more sense. You were just showing off the hat for the Meat Shit's fuckface hat. Would you like to show it off a little bit?
And all that shit's embroidered. You can walk around and be a fuck face. That. There's that.
That's badass.
That's
Still got
super.
some left.
I was going to ask you, was it you that drew the logo for your band?
Yeah, in about 10 minutes. And now it's been altered and modified with this new computer technology. So now what you see is the bloody one.
You know, I've been meaning to ask you, what's up with the E being backwards?
Well, back then when the Meat Shits first started, we mainly, when we played, we opened up for punk rock bands. And so we
That
opened up
makes sense.
for Capital Punishment, MDC, stuff like that. So basically, at first we were involved in the punk scene. So that just came from seeing other punk bands that did it. So we did it. There was really no thinking behind it. I drew the logo in 10 minutes
That's pretty cool. I like it.
because we weren't expecting to really do anything from it. I mean, the first demo had 781 songs on it. So there was really not a lot of thought to it. It was just like slap a bunch of porno on the covers. There's your shitty logo. There's a shitty drawing. There you go.
It worked. Yeah, it worked.
I guess, yeah, sure. And
All
now
right,
that shitty demo's coming out on vinyl in less than a month.
too cool.
It's kind of strange. It took a minute, but it's finally coming out on Wear and Tear Records. So when it comes out, pick yourself up a copy and mount it. Don't play it. Just put it in a frame.
Yeah.
Here's a little bit of an off the wall question for you. If you could rewrite any band's album to make it your own, like say you can make it as a Meat Shits album, what band would you want to recreate?
You mean do like 6 Feet Under and do the whole Back in Black album?
You mean
Yeah. I couldn't answer that question. I wouldn't want to alter anything.
about
I always thought that was the weirdest thing when they did that. I was just like, huh, what?
Yeah, old Barnes or new Barnes? Which one do you like better?
Old.
Yeah, he sounded so much better. All that E shit just drives me nuts, man.
I think that's the first time I ever heard the pig squeal. No,
Yeah.
probably not, but that's the first time it was like, I was just like, what the hell is that? But hey, people love it, you know. Can't judge people on what they love.
Hey, he's still doing what he's doing, but he sounds a lot like Cookie Monster nowadays.
I haven't really been following, so I have no opinion.
Yeah, I'd rather listen to Corpse Grinder, honestly. But what you got, Rhino?
All right. I'm gonna throw this out there because I'm always curious. Have you had any paranormal experiences? And if so, would you like to tell us about any?
What do you mean like paranormal? You mean like
It
ghost
doesn't,
shit?
yeah, it doesn't have to be seeing something, just something unexplainable per se.
Well, I can remember living up in Seattle in I think it was 93 or 94, and suddenly the whole damn city seen this thing over the city and it looked just like the saucer from V or Independent. Well, back then it would have been V. That would have been our frame of reference. But now everybody would say Independence Day. I mean, the whole damn city saw it.
Hmm,
And even I looked at it and I'm just like, what the fuck? What is this? An episode of V?
that's pretty crazy.
And I thought that was really weird. I'm sure there was a logical explanation for it, but I remember when I first seen it, I was just like, wow, do you see this? Am I fucking tripping?
Well, the whole city might have been tripping. That is a possibility in Seattle. But
Well, I wasn't tripping, and the people that were around, the most we were doing was smoking weed. So we all seen it, and I'm just like, am I really seeing this?
yeah, it doesn't matter when you're all seeing the same thing. Then yeah,
Well, it didn't exactly make news, and I'm pretty sure there's not because of the weather up there. Was probably something that just made it look like that, but it was really weird. Then another time, used to practice at this place in Roseville, and it was an old. It was a former brothel, but now it got converted into spaces for bands to practice.
wow,
And everybody said it was a haunted brothel because a lot of the shall we say the ladies of the evening, a lot of them met untimely deaths. And we were walking around checking the place out, and it was creepy as hell. And I would have swore I saw some shit, like shadow shapes of things. And
hmm,
it wasn't just me, the person I was walking around with. We just thought we saw some shit. Yeah, I don't know
that's
if I
awesome.
believe in all that, but I was just like, wow, okay, I want to get out of here now. We go outside, and a bunch of bats flew out the side of the fucking
Mm,
building. So
oh
that's
man.
about it, I think, for my paranormal experiences in my life.
Okay, right on topic. I'll steal this one from Al. OnlyFans or Pornhub?
I don't know what OnlyFans are, so I'm going to say Pornhub, but I don't even think that exists anymore, does it?
Al, does it?
I don't know. I don't watch porn. That's your question.
I'm going to say I don't watch it either. I just take samples from old porn movies, and when I'm watching it, I'm just laughing because it actually has dialogue and it's just like really bad, but at the same time, really funny.
Yeah. All right, totally off topic. You have any hard? I'm a big hardcore guy, so do you have any hardcore influences?
Oh, yeah, the early Meat Shits was because we came from the crossover time.
Yep.
That means I like Crumbsuckers a lot. I think that's a great band. Agnostic Front. Um, Old Capital Punishment. I thought that was great music. We ended up playing with, like I said, a lot of hardcore bands from our area at the time. A lot of people don't know this, but one of our earliest shows, we opened up for Green Day,
Oh wow.
and we opened up for Primus, which was interesting.
Yes, I would call that quite interesting. It's hard to picture.
Oh, it was, and it really fucking annoyed people. And yeah, I don't know if you heard the story about what happened when we opened up for Primus. The fucking waitress there, fucking upstairs, was listening to us. We did like 90 songs in 12 minutes. And the lady upstairs, she had to be taken to the hospital because she had a fucking heart attack
Oh God.
because she'd never heard anything like this. And it was just like, what the fuck?
Wow.
And the owner of the club kept running down and screaming at us on the stage saying, no punk rock. I said, no punk rock. And then they
Hey,
eventually
wait.
pulled the plug on us. That's why we only played 12 minutes.
Oh man, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, I'd love the early. I really credit California punk with the birth of hardcore. I mean, you had stuff going on in New York too, but pretty much like the nardcore scene really kicked in the true hardcore.
I mean, like RKL,
Yep. Stalag 13, Dr. No.
Dr. No, Ill Repute.
Yep. Yeah, so I'm a big fan there. I was a Dead Kennedys fan for a while.
Yeah, I seen the Dead Kennedys twice before. I seen them once at the Modesto City Library outside, and I thought that was fucking great. And I seen them another time in Sacramento. People were
Animal
diving from the
Library?
fucking high rafters and stuff, the upstairs, the balcony, they were
hmm
diving off on the crowd. It's like, what the fuck? Because I was more into metal, so that whole scene
Yeah,
got introduced to me, and I thought, wow, this is shocking.
it was very special. Yes.
Because I'd never really seen slam dancing or anything until punk rock concerts, and then you started seeing it happen at the metal shows.
Yeah, I mean, punk rock, especially West Coast, was just seeing how many politicians you could name in a song that you don't like.
Yeah, Dead Kennedys was good with that.
Yeah. Let me turn it back to Alvin.
Speaking of punk rock, in 2 years, Ramon's self-titled album on Sire Records from 1976 turns 50 years old.
Yep.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, oh God, it's older than me.
Beat on the Brat, Blitzkrieg Bop, Now I Want to Sniff Some Glue. Those are songs that stood out to me as like, what are they talking about sniffing glue for? You trying to get fucked up or some shit? But at the time, I didn't know what it meant because I wasn't even born in 76. I was born in 79, but I heard, the album years later, and it stood out to me like, wow, they really got away with shit like that. I
Well,
mean,
back in my day, we didn't really consider the Ramones punk rock. I didn't know anything about that when I was a kid because that was kind of lumped in with just rock music.
Right.
It was kind of lumped in with Van Halen or Cheap Trick or something like that.
That's painful.
Well, that was the early 70s. They probably didn't know how to market it.
Right. Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
Then a few years later, you got bands like Bad Religion, No Effects, Dead Kennedys, Cro-Mags, and the list just is endless, man. There's so many bands out there. I mean, how can you not enjoy music? I mean, if you don't enjoy music, what do you do? Read books for a living? I mean, it's got to be something to do to make time pass, you know?
Well, the only time I really listen to music is when I'm driving because that's when it makes sense.
Yeah.
You need that edge.
Yeah. It provides patience on the road. That's for sure.
Yeah, it provides patience on the road. Then somebody pulls up next to you and they just look over at you like you fucking owe them money.
I have fun with those people. Like, you have the overly aggressive driver, you just let them pass and look over at them like you're crazy. And they're like, they just drive on.
That was funny. Do it again, Rhino.
No.
You got to remember we deal with California drivers here, so they're a different breed.
I imagine. I imagine. Yeah, like, phew, you could make better time most places on a unicycle.
Well, I don't live like in LA.
They
LA's
know.
bad.
Right.
LA's real bad. And Portland's even worse than LA. I mean, I never seen such fucking gridlock or bullshit as I did up there.
You have to kind of think it. If your car's there when you get up, right, the drive to work is going to suck.
Well, especially if you got to go wait in a bunch of traffic with a bunch of fucking people all honking their horns. It's like, dude, where do you expect me to go?
Yep. Yeah, my buddy, this was in outside of Philly, but a couple months ago, somebody was tailgating him and it turned into an altercation and he got shot.
That will happen.
Yeah, like, come on, man. I was like, just pull off, man. We're too old for that.
Well, yeah, I drive in the slow lane now, considering
Yeah.
my age, and I don't want no problems.
Not that there's a great time to get shot, but, well, you should know better by now.
Yeah, most
Robert,
definitely.
What's that?
I was going to say, hey, Robert, I got a question for you. What's the craziest thing that's happened to you while performing on stage? Say you've fallen down, maybe off the stage, or maybe you tripped over a cable and unplugged someone's instrument. You ever have anything like that happen?
Not to recollection, but I do remember that it's been close. There's a couple videos online where the guy's cord is so close to me, and a couple times I almost ran into it and pulled it out, but fortunately it didn't happen. Well, there was the one time, believe it or not, in Sacramento where the girl the whole time during the show, even before we played, she was just talking shit. She was drunk as fuck, just talking mad shit, and then got up on stage. She was talking shit the whole time. And then she came up, talked shit, and then threw her beer on my Hellhammer shirt.
Oh,
Fucking soaked my Hellhammer shirt. And my first thought was, you fucking bitch. And I just took the beer I had in my hand and just fucking douched her. And then she got up on stage, literally wanting to fight. And I was like, fuck you, bitch. That's my Hellhammer shirt. So fucking, we were about to go for it. And then some bro metal dude fucking jumps out of the crowd, fucking tackles me through the drum set.
Jesus.
That's the only thing I can remember in recent memory. And that happened, Jesus, 7 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell.
It still hurts. You go through a drum set, boy, that'll wake you up real quick.
Yeah.
You still got the shirt?
Hmm?
Do you still have the shirt?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but she threw beer on it. And I'm just like, hey man, that's my Hellhammer shirt. I don't know who the fuck you are. The only thing I know is you've been talking shit this whole show. Fuck you.
That's terrible, man. Nobody should have to deal with shit like that at all.
Yeah, but it's the state capital of California. Of course it was gonna happen. I mean, I didn't expect it. Thing is, it really sucks. She was the hottest girl at the show. The only reason the guy jumped me is because fucking he was trying to impress her.
Like it'd really take a lot to get her home that night.
Boy, I'll never forget that.
That's how I got my nose broken my first pit, trying to impress a girl. Like turned, trying to be cool. I'm gonna go in a pit a while. Turn, come on. Blood just, I couldn't see anything. That was funky times.
Well, the only time I've gotten hurt at shows is when I was stupid enough to mosh or get up in the front row. It only
Yes.
happened twice, though. I did it a lot, but it only happened twice. One time at a KMFDM show, I got dragged to. Went and seen that. Some dude jumped off the stage and hit me with his boots right in the middle. Then another time I went and seen GBH and the Accused. And I was stupid enough to go pitting and I sprained my ankle.
That's insane. Yeah, rule number one, I've never stage dived. I never will. I saw a kid, actually that same show I broke my nose. I saw this kid get up, go to the stage dive, and he didn't pay attention because when he jumped, the pit had moved. I can still hear his head hit the floor. So, like, nope.
Well, I used to stage dive at the old punk shows, but I was also a dumb kid. I think the last time I ever did it was we went and seen Napalm Death for the first time. They came out here. It was Napalm Death and Godflesh and Nocturnus. And I stage dived that night.
Cool. Let me throw Al's question because I've just been curious with that. Al normally asks this, but it's on in my head. With that said, what's the craziest thing you saw in the audience while playing?
I can just remember one time in Mexico, there was such a massive pit and people were just throwing full beer bottles off the side at people pitting. And I seen it, we're talking like full 40 bottles.
Jeez.
And just fucking knocking people out. And people would fall and then everybody would keep moshing and then it just turned into a big old fucking man pile.
Yeah.
I remember just going, oh shit, this show's going to get shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And there was
And
another
it
time.
didn't then, huh?
And the same thing happened at one of those backyard parties they used to have in LA all the time. They actually had a documentary on it. They had on Netflix, believe it or not. It was about all the fucking hit and run backyard parties, and we did quite a few of them. We did like one in Compton, one in Wilmington, places like that. I mean, we're talking like shady places.
Right.
There'd be fucking big old pits, and people would just have alcohol, just throw them right at people slamming.
Oh.
That hurt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I had my nose broke, the guy had a sock full of change. That's what came across my face, a sock full of change. Like,
Glad I don't do none of that shit no more. Like if I
No, I mean,
fucking die.
I was 15 then. That was my first ever pit. But
You know, it
all
makes me
right,
laugh.
Alvin's been quiet. What you got?
I was gonna say, you know, what makes me
Oh,
laugh about mosh pits nowadays is you got people trying to do karate moves and kung fu moves.
Hmm.
And it's like, did you go to class for that? You got proper training? What the hell are you trying to do? You trying to pick up, you know, termites off the floor or some shit? You
I
got these
used to
people
call it picking up change.
that too.
That's what I used to call it, with the picking up change dance.
Yeah, I mean, who does that crap?
And now
Seriously.
everybody's doing this fucking martial arts kicking, and it's just like, and I watch some of these videos that are on Instagram, and I'm just like, oh hell no.
I mean, when I went to go see Gore Guts and Cannibal Corpse, I was crowd surfing while everybody was circle pitting, and then I jumped in the pit for a while, and then I crowd surfed again. It was fucking awesome. I said, here I am at 40 some years of age, still enjoying death metal to the best that I can. You know what I mean? Because some people just don't have it in them anymore, I guess. It's like they've
Well, it
lost
seems
their
like a lot of people into death metal, they're older now.
yeah.
and somehow still alive through all this.
Well,
I
no, and
mean,
it's just funny that fucking the people now that listen to death metal, they're old. They're grandfathers.
look at Christopher
Yeah.
Bellis. That guy works out just about every day, and you wouldn't look just by looking at him, you wouldn't think that he writes death metal, but he does. And he's 55, still deals with arthritis, but he says that he's going to do it until the day that he can't do it. So my props to Mr. Christopher Bellis from Internal Bleeding.
Yeah, kudos.
Yeah, that dude is phenomenal. Lee Harrison from Monstrosity, he's still kicking ass. They're working on a new album. So
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I photographed a hardcore show last year and I see all these shaved heads and I just laughed. I'm thinking that was a choice years ago. Now it's their only hair option.
Well, mine's
But,
falling out naturally, and I'm a little overdue for a haircut, but my haircut only involves the sides now.
mm, yeah, mine's still staying up there. Gray, but up there.
Yeah, well, mine isn't gone gray yet, but if I try to grow a beard, boy, it's gray as fuck.
Yeah. That
I
happened
got a few.
overnight.
Yeah, I
What's
got
that,
a
Al?
few. I say I got a few of those white hairs myself right there. You see that bush? Yeah.
Now, I
But
try to grow a beard, but it just looks, I'm like, wow, I look a lot younger if I'm shaved.
This hides my ugly, or at least helps. Alvin?
yes. I can't think of anything at the moment, Rhino.
Well, why don't you ask your questions then?
Okay, well, let's see here. Rhino, or not Rhino, sorry. Robert, who would you like to give a shout out to today? Like, say, some musicians that you've been friends with for years or whomever.
I'll just give a shout out to Wear and Tear Records to start out with. Um, this girl Dawn Brinley from Connecticut, hardcore fan named Ethan up there in Clackamas, Oregon. Just the hardcore people. I mean, I can't really think of everything. I wasn't prepared for this question. Otherwise, I'd have to write a list.
Yeah.
And I got a couple more quick questions here. Would you like to show off a little bit more of your merchandise as to what you guys are selling right now?
A lot of merch, and a lot of it's in the closet. So, got these patches,
Killer.
buck face patches.
Nice.
There's a T-shirt I had just sitting around here. Only got a few of these left. Not sure if I'm supposed to show the image.
You can if you want.
Ornaholic T-shirts.
Oh, wow. That's pretty badass.
And they got sleeve prints, family entertainment logo. Same things at a drop of pre-cum. Got some things left. I'm out of the Jesus shirts. Those are sold out. They sold out really quick.
When does the vinyl come out?
Next month.
Next month.
Jackets are
Okay.
already there.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're coming up on record store day, so I wasn't sure if it was going to be an RSD release.
No, it's going to be on wear and tear. It's
Okay.
he's putting out all the old demos on vinyl after all these years, and they're all going to come out this year.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's funny.
How many songs entirely is that?
Well, the regurgitated semen vinyl is 1,691 songs.
Whew.
The one coming out next month is the Meet the Shits minstrel samples. And Meet the Shits has 781 songs on one side. Side A, side B will have 155. So that's just short of 1,000.
How many of the songs can you name offhand?
None. None. I was shocked when these were finally coming out. I'm like, huh, what? I'm like, fuck, did that so long ago. And they're just all really short songs and really obnoxious.
That works out great.
Well, some fans sure loving it, and I'm just kind of going, okay.
Yeah.
I kind of prefer the more music songs we do, the more death metal oriented, grind oriented ones, but people love that noise core too. It seems to be making a comeback, and everybody looks who used to do it, and it's just like, the finger points at me.
Yep. For sure.
You got a favorite song by the Meat Shits, Robert?
What song do I like? I like Incubator of Death. That's one I always liked. You Should Have Fucked Me, Bitch. That's all I could think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, one that I can never get enough of is Bimbo is a Compliment.
Yeah, that's a favorite. That would make an interesting shirt, huh?
Yeah, it definitely
Yes,
would.
it would.
I mean, the only time I ever heard the word bimbo was on the very first episode of Married with Children. And
Oh,
didn't they
God.
used to use that term on Laverne and Shirley?
I don't remember that one. I still watch
I'm
Married with
trying to remember
Children.
where else I heard bimbo. That's the only place I can remember. And then
Yeah.
It's one of the funniest words I've ever heard in my life is bimbo. I guess it's better than being called bitch.
well, I mean, do you have that bakery out there called Bimbo Bakery?
I've never heard of it.
Well, out here, it's like I think it's a Mexican company, but I see Bimbo bread trucks everywhere, and every time I see that, I just start going. I'm like, does somebody even know what Bimbo means?
I'm not actually sure what the real definition is. The
Well,
word
to me,
origin.
growing up, the definition has always been a woman of ill repute.
You're right.
Ill repute. That's interesting.
Yes, it is. I think all Karens are bimbos.
It's kind of funny out here. Any woman named Karen, anytime I hear somebody's name is Karen, I instantly form a judgment.
Yeah.
And sometimes it turns out that I'm right.
More often than not, the name just worked. Yeah, my aunt doesn't even talk to me because her name's Karen.
It just seems like that name, because everybody spread that around. Don't be a Karen. It seems like every woman named Karen took that to heart.
Yes. Yep.
Stop being a Karen, Rhino.
All right. I Karen too much.
Sharon is Karen. Oh wait, no, it's not.
That's gonorrhea. That's what.
Now, anytime I hear that word Karen, that name, I just sit there and instantly just go, whoa. I don't want no problems.
What's the name of that person driving the bimbo truck? Oh, her name's Karen.
Probably.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I'm just surprised. That's funny how bimbo just seems to be a West Coast thing. Bimbo bread, bimbo bakery.
That's hilarious. I need to see a picture of those. I'll look it up
I'm
on.
sure you can find them online. I'm sure there's a company website.
I'll definitely look it up.
I'd love to vandalize those trucks.
Just put on the site, bimbo is a compliment.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's totally right. All right, Robert, do you have any final words for Underground Noise Webzine?
No, just thank you, Rhino. Thank you, Al, for doing this interview and breaking my
It's been a blast.
podcast, Jerry. Funny thing is the minute you announced you were going to do one, then a couple other people wanted to do it. I'm sure it was just a coincidence.
Yeah, it has to be, but
It was just weird how suddenly, I mean, maybe somebody's asked me before, but because it was Al, I just said, yeah, let's give it a shot. Why not? I need to promote these fucking records coming out and everything and whatever's left. Because that's what the rest of my year is pretty much going to be. It's going to be finishing new recordings and overseeing these vinyls coming out of all these old shitty demos.
Yep.
And
Well,
everybody
we're glad
today
to have you
finally
here.
gets a chance to see the old man again.
Robert, thanks for being on the show today. We've had a blast with you, and I'll stay in touch with you definitely on Instagram. And remember, metalheads, keep your horns up, support your local music scene, support Underground Noise Webzine, support the meat shits, buy some merch from Robert. He would probably appreciate that very much. And don't forget, there's never enough music, and bimbo is a compliment.